Okay, good evening, everyone. One more time, I welcome you all for this webinar, which is on about how to be successful in science. And I'm really grateful to all of you who made it to for this webinar, who registered for this, did RSVP, and you are here today. I'm so glad to see you all. So I'm opening my camera for a moment just to say hi to all of you. Hello. And I'm really glad to see you all here. Some of you I know from last many, many years. Some of you I will know today. And some of you I just came to know maybe in the last webinar. But I'm really grateful to every one of you. Thank you so much. Now, let's start with today's webinar, which is on about how to be successful in science. So this is a very important topic, actually. And why I feel this is very important, because when we are in the lab or when we are in settings where we do science, or when we are working in some kind of a scientific field, that all the people around us only talk about science. Or sometimes maybe my PI or maybe my colleague or maybe some of my friends talk about that what are the hardships people follow and what could be the ways out to do good in science. But when I was a PhD student or a postdoc, I didn't find that much of what this is my experience, that much of guidance that how I can make my career in science. Though all the guidance was related to the projects, which is also good actually. You need a lot of guidance for your project also, but you need something more than that, because as you can see, you also must be doing some project in your lab. Or maybe if you are in a non-academic position, then you might be doing something related to science only. But what could be the ways where I can do great in science? So I thought, like, why not to just make one presentation for all the scientists, and because they require the most our guidance from all of us, that how one can do good in science and do wonders. So that's my whatever I'm going to show to you today. That's my own experience, my own views. So if you like it, then you. If you don't like it, just forget about it. It's a simple way of living life. If you like it, just keep it. Okay, before I go into my webinar, I want to give a small introduction of myself, so that some of you might be knowing me, and the people, those who don't know me, for them, I just prepared 2 slides that myself, Hemant Agrawal, and I'm a flow cytometry consultant, and I started this organization known as Flow Cytometry Solution in 2013. So I did my PhD from MD, and then I did a couple of postdocs from USA. One was from Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation, and another was from Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago. And I moved to India in the year 2011, and from there onwards, I am associated with flow cytometry as such a lot. I worked as an application support scientist for Flojo software. I think some of you might be from flow cytometry field. They might be knowing this software. Then in 2013, I started my own company, Flow Cytometry Solution. And I also joined as a consultant with FCS, which is another very good data analysis software for whole India region. And I also worked as a consultant to Zydus Cadila for their vaccine technology department for their flow cytometry needs. I was also a consultant to BioRed, to Venture Center, which is a bioincubator in Pune. And I am also served as a faculty for the Indo-US flow cytometry workshops in India. And I'm also a member of the organizing committee. And for a couple of years, I also worked for a company known as TTP Labtech, which is based in Cambridge, who makes high throughput systems, cell imaging high throughput system as a scientific manager. And then currently I'm also as advisor to BSN Nepal as a managing officer for Trust for Education Training Cytometry, and a business development consultant for Quantum Technology USA. So this is my short bio that what all we are doing. So as such, I'm into flow cytometry and it's a passion for me. So I do flow cytometry in and out, and we do a lot of things in that. And some of you might be already in touch with us, so that's great. And some of you who up to now was not knowing about us, then you can get in touch with us if you have any requirements revolving around flow cytometry. So let's start about this today's lecture about success in science. So the question is why we want to achieve success. And this is a very burning question which comes to everybody's mind that, yes, I want to be successful. Everyone wants to be successful. Why? Because it's a part of our plans. And we love the taste of winning. Everyone loves it. It's like you do any work, even if you're playing a small board game also, you love to win. And the winning is something that leads to success. We need stimulation. Because when the success comes to us, then the stimulation also comes automatically to us, and we want to do good in that field, whatever it is. And then we want to compensate lacks and failure from the past. This is a very important point, actually. Why we want to try again and again for certain things? Because maybe we failed in the past and now we want to compensate for that. And that could lead to a success. And we find success as a solution for our problems. Yeah, that's also true. Like some people, like they are maybe undergoing certain problems, but if they are successful in certain aspects, then they feel okay, they find the problem for their current problems. And you also need a constant growth in your career. So constant growth in your career is also a kind of a success that one wants in their life. So now the question is this: the success is having a different definitions. For every person, their success is a different definition. And we're going to discuss about it, that especially in science, what could be the different definition of success? So what really worries me is this. When it comes to science, I was just flipping the pages of a journal long back. In Nature, I found this paper which titles The PhD Factory. And this worries me a little bit. So the world is producing more PhD than ever before. Is it a time to stop? I don't know. I really don't know that whether we really require this number of PhDs in the world. And if you look at the numbers, if you go to the next slide, then you can see USA tops the chart. They're producing, and this is the data is from OECD website, and it was published. They collected this data in 2016, but it was still 2014, and they took the fields like science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So it's STEM. And they found out that how many PhDs we are using every year. And it's a lot. So do we really have a jobs for them? Do we really have avenues for them so that they can get absorbed? And it's a burning question. And this question comes to everybody's minds, whosoever is doing a PhD in a present world, or whosoever has finished his PhD, his or her PhD, and now want to take a next step in his or her life. The question is, this PhD will take me somewhere or not? So the thing is that I'm a very positive person, first of all. I will never be negative on my slides, and I was never negative in my career as a scientist. Though at present I'm not doing science, but I do something which supports science, which is also needed in today's society. It's kind of an alternative career that I've chosen for myself. And we can talk about it, that how could be alternative careers can help you in grow in your scientific career. But this is something to think about it when it comes to the degrees. So now the thing is that, what are the challenges that my young scientists or the young people are having in today's world? The scientific funding and the number of job positions decreasing, and it is decreasing every day. Today's young scientists will be rejected more than the equal caliber in the past century. And this is a sad part. It's a sad part in a sense that, though it's not that the quality is bad, the qualities might be at par or maybe better. But the thing is that the opportunities are limited. So if the opportunities are limited, so we have to do something different to grab those opportunities. And we are going to talk about it, how to tackle those are the limited opportunities that we have. So young scientists must be prepared for these career challenges in this hyper competitive job market, limited funding and positions. And this is true with both with academia and non-academia. It is not that, okay, I will just think that today I'm in academia, maybe there are less faculty positions, I can just move into non-academia. So the condition remains the same. So in this webinar, we will discuss various tips to help young scientists flourish while on their career journey. So let's see how we can help you out today. So before going into the detail of the tips that I want to give it to you, I want to make show you a slide which talks about a definition of successful scientist or someone who is successful in science. I will not go to every point in greater detail, but what I feel certain points are very, very important that I think every one of you who are present here will agree with me. So what I feel as a successful, like anyone as a successful person, that person has to be expert of his or her field. Without having the expertise of that field, that success will not come. And then when it comes to science, or science from a lab, or science from academia or non-academia, what really matters is the publication. And publication, if you, I'm pretty sure that you will agree with me that it's kind of a, like without publication, a journey in science is very difficult. So we have to be constantly publishing. And if we are able to publish in a good journal, then what else we require? This is the best that can happen to anyone. And then definitely, if you are at a position to writing the grants, you can have a good grants, good job that you have, which could be a permanent or could be a job which can give you satisfaction. And if you're running a lab, then you need a good, excellent staff to run your lab, because that can guarantee that the publications or the quality of the data that you are generating from your lab will be really, really good. So you have to be really friends with your staff. You have to nourish them. You have to make them. This is not that you will find them in any like in any lab. It is like you have to make them. You have to nurture them. Then only you can have a very good staff. And for yourself to be successful, I would say you can be on the editorial board. You can be on the scientific societies. You can have a good industry collaborations. But at the end, whatsoever you do, you have to be satisfied and you have to be happy. So and there is no alternative to it. So I have seen very good scientists, they are having all those points that I wrote down here, but they are not happy at the end of the day. So if you are not happy, then what is the use of that, having being an expert, got the prize, having a lot of patents, publications. So you have to be really happy. And happiness, it's not all about, like maybe somebody in this group can challenge me and say, okay, I don't require all these things that you mentioned. I'm still happy whatever I'm doing, whatever is a smaller. And I agree with that person. I have nothing against that person. Yes, the main criteria, you have to be happy. But the thing is that when it comes to science, when we are talking about the science, then yes, we need to have certain things that we can prove that we are good as a scientist, and we are flourishing in day-to-day science. So let's talk more about all these things. So science and success. So most people think the path to success is a straight line, but it's actually a squiggly line with many different paths. And I really love this cartoon, that what people think it looks like, but it's not like that. And some of you might, who are present here, they will agree with me. Those who are gain the success, it's not that easy. We have to really work hard at every point to reach somewhere, but reaching somewhere is not the end goal. That I'm going to tell you, that should not be the end goal. The journey has to be enjoyed. If we are not enjoying the journey, then whatsoever you achieve at the end of the day doesn't matter. It might not make you happy. So you have to enjoy the journey, whether it's a straight path or whether it's a squiggly path, as you can see on this cartoon here. So what should I do? So the question is, it's not a straight path. It takes a lot of efforts to be successful. Then what should I do? I need to do a proper planning. proper planning of my career. You have to be foresight. You have to know what you want to achieve from your career. You have to develop yourself accordingly. You have to become indispensable, and you have to be different. You have to be really, really different. I'm not saying the different means that you look different in a crowd just by from your appearance. Different means the way people are doing the things. You have to do it differently. And I think this is true with any job you talk about. Not only about science, you have to be different. Let's talk about certain tips and tricks to be successful. So there is no alternative to the below points that I feel. This is my point of view. The talent. Yes, we need a talent in us to be successful in science. We have to be thinking. We have to be a good thinker. Hard work, inquisitiveness, restlessness, flexibility, and adaptability. And we are going to discuss all these points, that how these points, I'm pretty sure some of you might be already gone through all these points and might be following all these things. But especially those who have just started their career in science, those who are in MSc level or just started their PhD, for them this could be a good list to understand that we require these kind of the qualities in us to be successful in science. So let's discuss in detail. First point, very positive. Let's start in a very positive way. Science rocks. I love science. And I think you all love science. That's why you are here. That's why you want to listen at what this guy is saying, that how to be successful in science. So society desperately needs your talent. Believe me. Now you can see in present era that at present we got a challenge from a virus known as novel coronavirus. So who are I can see how the whole community, the whole world is dependent on scientists. They are just looking at us. They are just waiting for the day when we have something coming out from the lab which can save the life of the people. So the future wealth, health, and even survival of Homo sapiens, you can compare with today's condition, depend on a deeper understanding of the laws and mechanisms of nature, and using this information to develop new technologies and therapies. Now you can see today, even there's nothing against the doctors. They are doing great work, and I love them. I salute them. They are putting their life on a stake, and they are working day in, day out. But doctor can only give the medicine if there is a scientist in the lab who can develop the medicine. And you are the one who are developing that. So think very high about yourself, always. So when you think high about yourself, then you will feel that you are in a noble profession. And don't compare yourself with anyone, because I don't want any comparison. Because we are in a field, there is no comparison with any field. Every had its own ups and downs. And science, I always feel, it has a lot of opportunities. It just depends upon you how you want to take those opportunities one by one. So this is especially for the new people, those who are still in a midst of choosing a lab or a project. It's very important. You have to make a good choice. Your starting has to be really, really good. And could be when you are choosing a job or a lab or a project, or choosing a mentor, because that is also important. I feel choosing a mentor is like getting married to someone. I always feel like that, because you have to stay with that person for several years. Maybe sometimes if you're a postdoc, maybe 2 to 3 years. And if you're a PhD, maybe 5 to 6 years, depending on in which country you are doing your PhD. And then if you are in a work or a job, maybe 5 or maybe more than that, or maybe the rest of your life. So don't you want to make a good selection? Now the question is how I can choose my mentor. So there are different ways. So if you are a PhD student, then in many PhD programs, that what they have a graduation program where there's a rotation of the labs. So that's the time you have to make a point that to look at the lab, to look at the facilities, to look at the people, look at the PI, and take your decision at the end that, okay, which mentor I want to go with whom I can live my life. Because I don't want to live with a mentor who doesn't give importance to me. Because that's very important in science, the importance. Because when importance comes to you, the quality will come automatically. And similarly, choosing a lab, what kind of a facilities which are available, what kind of a projects. So you have to take a realistic projects. I'm not against the unrealistic project, but in your start of your career, you cannot have unrealistic projects. So it has to be realistic. When I say realistic means that you can see that there's some results can come out of it and you can finish your PhD or a postdoc and then you can take a next step in your career. But if you choose a project where there is a lot of if and buts, then maybe it can be a block in your career. So these are the choices you have to make. Make a good choice at the end of the day. So once you have a good choice, then you have to love your work. There is no alternative to love your work. So if you truly love your job, then you will be successful because it is very difficult to perform poorly at something that you enjoy. You should find a job that you like so much that you would do it even for free. I mean, sometimes you can do it, not every time, of course, but you can do it for free. And at any time of the day, you are ready to talk about it, you are ready to do it. However, if you are not passionate about your chosen career path, then perhaps it's a time to reinvent yourself by exploring a different career path where such as enjoyment can be found. Don't be afraid to transition between your careers from academia to industry and back to academia. You should always pay attention to how you feel when you are doing different activities to discover what you value in your career. Whether you love science or something else, love what you do, because life is too short to spend time on things you don't enjoy. So that's my principle in life, that I made a principle long back that I'm going to do only the things that I love. I'll started saying no at very early in my career, and still I'm saying no to the things that I don't like, because the quality matters at the end of the day. So you should love your work. Great scientists enjoy what they are doing, and their happiness is the key to their success and long-lasting careers. Aiming for success is the wrong goal. Instead, emerging scientists should strive for a way to be a value and enjoy what you are doing. So you really have to start loving what you are doing. Whether you do a small project or a big project, any projects, or whether it's a scientific work or a non-scientific work, you have to love it. So it has to be like this, that every morning you have to feel like, okay, oh, wow, it's a great day. Now I'm starting my work. So you have to be like that. And then once you start love your work, you have to give respect to yourself. I have seen many people, they love their work, they love their lives, they like their boss, they like everyone, but they don't like themselves. So every morning you have to say these things: I love me, I listen to me, I respect me. You know why? Because this will give you the confidence that what you are doing is correct. I'm not talking about taking suggestions or listening or taking the guidance from others. What I'm trying to say here, we have to start respecting ourselves. When we respect ourselves, the other people respect us. If we are not respecting ourselves, then nobody respects us. And in science, it's really, really important because it's a self-motivating kind of thing. So you have to love yourself. Because what I feel, you are a limited edition. Everyone is different. Don't feel that the other one is having a 10 papers in life, why I'm not getting. Yes, you will also get it. Your time will also come. I was reading an article. I just want to share with you some experience. And they did a very good study there. They took all the good scientists all over the world and they did a compilation of their papers and the citation. And you won't believe that they never published a very high cited paper once they got a bigger prize. Maybe that paper come very early in their life. or maybe mid of their life, but not always after getting that prize. So it could be any time. It can happen at any time. So believe in yourself and love yourself and love your job. So another very important thing in science that I always try to tell to people, you have to self-motivate yourself. You have to generate a driving force in yourself. If you don't have it, it's very, very difficult, because there are many, many days to come, there will be no results. There will be the people around you will say, there's nothing in science, what you're doing, it is not a well-paid job, this and that. There could be 100 of things people are talking. But you have to take note from that negativity. You have to believe in yourself that, okay, it's not working today. Maybe tomorrow, I have to motivate myself. And surround yourself with positive people. Those who talk positive. I understand not every time you can talk positive. So at that time, what do you require? You require a break. You require a break from the things that you are doing so that you can rejuvenate yourself. But believe in yourself and go for it. Again, a very important thing that I believe in, you have to be the backbone of your lab, of your job, of your work, or where a working space, or wherever you are working. You have to be the backbone. You have to be the very important person of that area. What I want to say to the budding scientists and the current scientists, that learn some technology, master it, so that everyone comes to you, and people think twice to say no to you, or think twice to kick out from that lab or that workplace. So you have to be the backbone of your place, because there are many people, those who are working, whenever there is some problem with the lab or there's some problem with the working space, then who gets fired the first? Those who are not required. But if you are a backbone of your area, of your lab, people will think twice, think maybe thrice, think many, many times before saying no to you. So be the backbone. Get inspired, get inspired, get inspired from the people, because when you get inspired, a fire comes inside you. Okay, I want to achieve something similar. Maybe not exactly what the other person is doing, but something similar, so that you can also make name of yourself. Do something good what you are doing. So get inspired. And for inspiration, you don't require always the scientist. You can get inspired by anyone, maybe from a small kid also, maybe from a person who has nothing to do with science from last many years, and maybe he's not going to talk about science for next 20, 30 years. You can get inspired by anyone. But once you get inspired, because this Robin Sharma said, like, it's the quickest ways to change the game is to change your brain, because you can rejuvenate yourself at that time when you get inspired by someone. Hunger for knowledge. You have to be always hungry in science for knowledge. The more you gain, the more the chances are better you do in science. So stay hungry all the time. So what I want to say here is, let's dive right in. Explore the unclear, enchanted areas of science which can lead to creative work. So somebody can ask, how could I do anything without knowing everything that had already been done? That's true. It's a very valid question. But something here that I was talking with my wife the other day. I was showing the slides to her, and she reminded me of one example, and it's a great example. I really loved it. When she was a PhD student, then one of his boss, once during discussions, gave this example. It's an analogy, but we can understand in terms of science also. Is this that, let's say somebody lost the keys on a road, and now they want to find that key. So the person goes and try to search for the key. The person is only looking for that key in the area, like in the areas which is not lighted. So if you come back to science, then generally what happens in science in today's world, people are working in the areas which are already known. or they try to like make it around that what is already known in the papers. So why not something of yourself? Why not just jump somewhere else? I can understand you cannot do this as a young scientist early in your career, but if you are already having an established lab and you're working on some projects which are already working good, why not to explore some unclear, uncharted areas in science? And why not to swim and swim little deeper and not to sink? You should always aim for a rough waters. So that way you might end up with something which nobody thought about it before. So this is something like I believe in. So maybe you can also think about it. So now comes to failure. Yes, up to now we are talking about all the positiveness, but science has its own failure, and failure are higher in number as compared to the success. And Thomas Alva Edison, the guy who invented this electric bulb, that he said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So Thomas Edison is the reason we have some of the world's greatest inventions. Without him failing 10,000 times, we would have never had a bulb and all the technology that came with it. He learned his work ethics from a tough childhood, but use it to succeed in his adult life. While most people fear failure, Thomas Edison and other successful people learn to love failing. They understand that failure is a part of the process to be successful at anything. So you really have to take it failure as a part and parcel of this game that you are playing. Because you cannot just go over this failure. It will be there, it will come. But you have to take this failure in mind and then just move on. Just move on your projects. And then this is, again, I feel very important. I feel this slide or this tip, I got it from I can say, you have to start learning to say no. And learn to say no without explanation, without excuse, without any apology. Because if you don't know to say no, then it can leave you in a very, very bad shape. Overcommitment is always dangerous. What I believe is be a good team player, but learn to say no and divide your time very carefully. If you are doing your share of administrative work in your department as a junior faculty or as a postdoc or as a PhD, do not hesitate to decline a request to serve on some other committees. Indicate that once your time commitments change, you would be more than willing to take on new responsibilities, but early in your career, focus on your own committee, your own engagements, your own grants, your own manuscripts. You might be that you have to review internally or through your institution related to research area that you are working upon, rather than just wasting your time on other stuff. You don't want to become overwhelmed that your research progress is hindered. Devote your time to activities that you want to contribute to. Don't just say yes to any job opportunity that you get. So there's a difference between the opportunity and capturing the noise. There's a lot of difference between the two. So you have to know a balance between the two. What is a noise and what's an opportunity? So volunteer with intent, but don't be a scapegoat for someone, because that can take you really, really back in your career. So start saying no, but be wiseful that where you are saying no. So the next thing is take challenges, take risk in your life. If you want something in your life you never had, you will have to do something you have never done. That's why J.D. Hudson, even Vivekananda said, take risk in your life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide. It's very simple. So successful scientists not only work hard, but they take a lot of risk that magnify their impact. And some of things I already talked about that explore the areas which is uncharted, unexplored. When successful scientists see a great opportunity, they pursue it. When an opportunity knocks, open the door and don't ignore it. So there's a difference between the noise and the opportunity. And it comes to everybody's door. It comes to everybody's doors. I want to give you one example here, and maybe like the example that take some challenge, take some risk. That one of my days of postdoc, I was sitting in lab and I went there. I used to go early mornings because I was traveling a lot. And I was sitting there, and a guy came and said, I want to do some flow cytometry based experiments, and your colleague is there or not? I want to talk to him because he met me yesterday and wanted to help me out. So I said, what experiment you want to run? So they said, like, we have some paper which returned for some review, and we have just only one picture that we want to generate from the data, and we have everything ready. Cells are stained. We just have to run and analyze the data. So rather than thinking of myself at that time, I thought it can be an opportunity for me, but I was not thinking a lot deep into it. I just said yes. I was having a lot of habit. I still have a habit of saying yes to everyone. Though I'm preaching to you, start saying no, but still I say yes to a lot of people. So that had its own ups, negatives and positives. But I said yes. So I turned on the machine, I ran the sample and everything I did, because that day my colleague was a little late to come to the lab. So you guys, you won't believe that that data that I generated to that guy, for that person that submitted that paper after a day or two, they gave my name in the paper, just working for, say, for an hour or so. And that was a journal. I remember, I forgot the name of the journal, but I know the impact factor was more than 12 or 15 impact factor. And just by working for 1 hour, I got the name in that paper. So that's a risk I took, that I gave my time, and I took a risk, and that risk was worth, because that was my field. That was my field, and I could help those guys. And I was so happy. But I was not knowing at that time that they are going to give my name in that paper. But when it came, it was a surprise to me. So this is something that, this is some small example, but take some risk. And this picture, which the fish, this is really fascinating to me. So you have to think really, really in a different way and have to take some risk in your life. So don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. And if plan A doesn't work, doesn't matter, because alphabet has 25 more letters. Be open-minded to new and untraditional paths. Risk taking is where most of the big discoveries and opportunities in science lie. So take a risk in your life. But you have to be calculated. Now, this is again very important. That sometimes what happens in science, people just talk science, science, and science. And we are just in our lab and in our own small area of thinking. So think outside the lab. Talk to people. There's always a better way to do things. Discuss your science. Meet people from other branches. Maybe they can give you some idea. You never know. Right balance is the key. Work and life both are important. Go out and enjoy. Have some hobbies outside the science. You know why I'm saying this? Because they rejuvenate you. And once you have energy, once you rejuvenate yourself, you can do wonders. And simply chill. If it is not working, it's okay. Go for a movie. Enjoy. If you like Bollywood, go for Bollywood. If you like Hollywood, go for Hollywood. Or do something. If you like music, listen music. Do something. So what I want to say here is that enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. And sometimes it happens that the things are not clicking. But if I just give it a break to it, I'd click the next day. So just stop it and then go and think again. A very important thing in science that I realized from my mistakes and what I have faced in my own career: believe everyone, but trust no one. Science has its own share of fake people. And I think some of you will definitely say yes to me for this. So trust no one. If you are collaborating with someone, have everything is in writing. Writing, writing, writing. Because verbal things will not work. Have things in writing, have things on paper, and this generally comes when it comes to the giving the name in the papers. There's always a fight that I will go first or I will go second, I will go at the last. So decide before you taking any project, where I will be, so that you will not come with some shockers in your career. Because what will happen if you come with a shock, that in your career, it will make your energy very, very down, and it will impact your career. So be careful with those people. So set the goal and believe in it. If your plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never change the goal. There could be multiple plans. There are multiple ways of reaching the same place. Just keep the goal same. Change the plan. Simply change the plan. Now, there are 3 slides which will come now are very, very important according to me. That the characteristics of a scientist. You have to be a very good speaker. You have to learn speaking. You have to be such a good speaker that you just change the way the people look at it. You just change the environment and change the energy of the whole environment. Take advantage of opportunities to give lectures about your research, prepare your talks, because that will help you to review what you have done, what you are doing, and what you still need to do. In lecturing, look at the audience, look into the eyes of the audience, not at the board of the screen. Write as less as possible on your screen. Always speak, look into their eyes, and try to read their mind. When you try to read their mind, you will see that those guys are just gets like the environment becomes very magical for you. It could be any kind of a presentation that you are giving. You have to follow this 3E that I believe in. You have to energize the person, you have to educate them, and you have to entertain them. And if you can instill those 3Es in your life, believe me, guys, you can be a very good orator. You can speak in front of anyone. So pretend like if you have something like a fear of talking, then in lecturing, look at the audience, not at the board of the screen. Pretend that you are talking to someone in the back row. Okay, in the initial start of your career, if you're afraid of public speaking, that will help you to speak loudly enough so that everyone can listen to you, and don't fumble with anything in your hand, because I have seen people like when they give the lectures, they have something in their hand, they're just so it means that you are nervous. Don't be nervous. Always think in a way. My PI told me when I was in my PhD that you know the best about your project. Nobody knows about your project. So in that case, since the people are asking the question to you, they are just asking the question because they have to ask the question. But you know the best about your project. And if you don't know the answer, the best answer, you know what's the best answer that you can give to anyone? Because sometimes what we fear that people will ask me the question about my project. So the best answer, what I feel that I generally utilize, that your question is a $1 million question, that I'm still working on it, or I will work on this, or I will look into it. But at present, please excuse me, I need to do a little bit more research about it. Without undermining the other's question, without saying anything, you can just always play safe. Okay? And don't read from your slides. If you are just directly reading, I've seen very, very big scientists giving the presentations, but they are just reading from them. People are not interested. You have to look into their eyes and give the presentation. And this is a very big trait of a successful scientist, that if you make him or her to speak anywhere, they can just speak loudly and clearly. And they try to give what they want to say to the people. Use your hands, use it to give impressions and what you want to give it to them. And look into their eyes. The next thing, which is again a very important thing, and there's no alternative to this, is like reading and reading. The more you read, the more you learn. Read constantly and widely. What I feel is that half of your reading should be immediately related to your current research work that you are working upon. It could be from journals, from the books, or from any articles that are related to your field. The other half should be potentially related to your current or the future research that you are interested in. You should always be reading one article or a textbook, and you should look at each issue of key journals and serials, know how to read journals to extract the most important information in the least time. Search NCBI website, search the Medline weekly, make it a point, put some alarms there on the website that whenever there's such a keywords comes, it tells you, because the reading will enhance your knowledge. When it will enhance your knowledge, the ideas will start coming to you. What I feel sometimes that we are not reading, and we always think, okay, the way I'm going to write my thesis or my paper, or then only I will read. I'm just doing the experiments. It might be possible that there's some new idea which might get published, and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. If somebody already did some mistake, why you want to repeat it? So in that case, reading becomes very, very important. So you really have to read good. Then comes the good writing. So these are three things: speaking, reading, and the writing. So I'm not talking about the grammatical thing. I'm not talking about that. I can understand some of us might not have a very good background in English, or maybe the grammatical mistakes are there, but we have to learn, because writing is a part and parcel of this business of science that we are in. We have to write grants, we have to write papers, we have to write articles, we have to write a lot of things. So either or you hire someone, because what happens when you are writing, your ideas comes, and you have to know that how to write. So for example, when it comes to writing the articles, I always feel, I mean, this is my way of thinking, that when we used to write articles, that somebody taught us that don't give the most of your time on choosing the title of your article. I don't know how many of you believe in me. That title of your article is very, very important. It should not be the last. It should be something, because that's the base. And then the abstract. The abstract has to be very your title has to be so good that it generates curiosity in the mind of the reviewers. That whatsoever this, let's say, because guys, believe me or not, some of you might be the reviewer here, those who are here today to listen my lecture or the webinar, that the reviewer do not get any amount of money to review the paper. They get zero. So now you have to instill that feeling of reading in that guy. I mean, definitely that guy will going to read maybe after 10 days, 20 days. But if your title is so great, that can make that person to read on the same day that it arrives in his inbox, that should be the best thing that can happen to you. So give a lot of time on abstract and discussion, and your results has to talk with your legend and the pictures, because pictures has to be really, really good in the paper. So pictures, I feel, because there's a saying that pictures are better than 1,000 words. So if your picture and legend can talk with each other, that's the best thing which can happen to you in your writing skills. So develop your writing skills. Every day write something. The more you write, the more you learn. You need not to wait for anyone to tell you to write something. Write about anything. Show to the people. Just send it to them. Nowadays, I see people write blogs. You can be one of those writing the blogs of science. It's very important. So learn writing good articles, good grants. It will make you really, really good. Then again, a very important thing that maybe we are now forgetting in our labs, and that is respect and appreciation. Then I got really excited when I found this article in Nature in 2018, then where Allison is talking about be human first and a scientist second. It's very important. Now you will tell me, how can you develop a group? How can you develop a good group if you don't have a good rapport with your group? If a person who's sitting in the lab doesn't respect you and, and is not having any connection with you, how can you expect to get a good science out of that person? What you want, that you have to show care. And because it is more in showing that you are perfect, you have to talk with the people. And I was lucky to found my two postdocs when I was a postdoc. They were so good. We were not only just talking about science, we were talking more than that. We were talking about, you can talk about anything. You can talk about your kids, maybe you can talk about your friends, you can talk about food, you can talk about cuisines, you can talk about anything. So, and if somebody is doing something good in the lab, you will be the first one to say, yes, you have done a great work. I really want to appreciate you. You know what will happen? That appreciation will bring the quality in that person. And many labs lack this. Maybe they are the best labs in the grants and all that, but they do not appreciate their people. So start appreciating. Even you can appreciate your junior who's working with you. In the morning, just say, oh, it's a great day. And I'm pretty sure that we are going to do some great work together. Without you, I cannot do anything. Always give appreciation to your colleagues, to your students, to your lab mates. Appreciation is very, very important. And this is one of the mantras I follow to be successful. It's very, very important. Now, networking. So I don't know how many of you believe in this. I believe thoroughly in this. Without networking, there's nothing. You have to do a lot of networking. And how to do networking? These are the ways. I can give you certain tips on this. So maybe I think all of you might be going for meetings, for conferences. But tell me really honestly, that if you get a chance to go to a foreign country for a meeting, how many of you are really working there in the meeting or networking rather than visiting the city? I have seen people, they get all the grants, all the travel grants, and they go to the other countries or other cities. But many of the time, they just attend that lectures and go away. They're not there. They're not talking with the people. Just maybe the day I will finish the paper, the day I will some grant, then I will talk. And that day will never come. Believe me, that day will never come. You have to start networking on the same day. And I give you some example. I love carrying my visiting cards. Whether you are in an MSc position or a bachelor's or a PhD or a postdoc or a scientist anywhere, make your visiting cards handy. Once you have a visiting card, talk to the people, talk about any topic, always give your visiting card. And I give you one example here, and you will love it. That because I'm an entrepreneur and I love networking, because without networking, I cannot do entrepreneurship, because all the contacts, everything works upon networking. So I was invited to one of the panel discussions in one of the universities, and they wanted to hire our company as one of the collaborators for flow cytometry needs. So there was a guy who came who gave the grants to them to start a new facility, and everyone was telling about themselves. During the lunchtime, the plate in one of my hands, I was eating and just like going from one person to another person. Then I found that person who was there to check the grants and approve the grants. So I talked that person. So the first thing I did, I gave my card to that person. Just please keep my card. You never know. And when he talked to me, I realized that person has nothing to do with flow cytometry, long distance. But it's okay. Guys, what happened to me? After 5 or 6 months, I got a call from those guys, said, we are starting a facility of flow cytometry, and we want you to be our consultant, and we want to hire your company as a consultant. You have to guide us which flow cytometer we want to take. And that's a bingo. It was a great moment. I mean, it can happen to anybody's life. So networking, and be open. Have a smile on your face. It doesn't give you much. It doesn't take a lot of money from your pocket to be having a smiley face. And just talk to the people. You never know who's ready for you. Maybe that's a job you can get. Maybe you can get opportunity to work together. You never know. Write good emails. Write, do networking, but never exploit the people. I'm not talking about exploit. I am talking about using the opportunities that you might can create for yourself. Okay? Hope this is clear to everyone. And then very important, don't ever burn the bridges. We know we all are very emotional people. And many a times we don't like the things happening around. Maybe I don't like my PR, I don't like my colleague, I don't like my friend, I don't like many people. But is it always necessary to take the things or take the emotions in front of them? Maybe you are sitting in a panel and you don't like somebody's face. You need not to tell the straight face to that person that I don't like you. Maybe next time that person is sitting in a committee and your grant is lying in front of that guy. You never know. So don't ever burn the bridges. And another very good tip that I want to give it to you, never ever write nasty emails. In today's world, never ever post anything on the social media nasty, because people can forget the arguments that you have done verbally, but people never forget. People never forget the things in writing. So never write any nasty things to anyone ever in your life, because that will always remain in the memory of that person. Because you never know when, if you, so let's say you might be say that, okay, I cannot work with that person. That's fine. You cannot work with that person. So stop talking. Take a different path. Don't go on that path. But why you want to burn the bridge with that person? Why you want to say the nasty thing? Always keep the ball in your goalpost. Always. So that you can utilize this anytime in the future in your career. Okay? So this is my mantra. Don't ever burn the bridges with anyone. Always be, you have to be, take a chill pill and think in a quiet way that what's the right decision you have to take if the conditions are really, really bad. When it comes to a realistic approach towards being a successful, it's one thing in industrial partnership. This is nowadays become very important. In India, we call it triple P, public-private partnership. Nowadays, this is becoming very important. So whatsoever you are doing in your lab, if it can go to the industry, then it's a win-win situation for you and for the industry. The industry people need not to invest a lot of money again to do the same research that you already done. So they are also happy, and you need not to worry about getting your product coming to the market. So why not have some industrial partnership? So always look for the good partnership. Always look for the partnership, because the more the partnership you have, the more the collaborations you have, the more are the chances that you will be successful in your career. Then another very important point, that if you want to be a star, get noticed. Get noticed yourself. Whether you can do anything. So this is just a small example that your articles are coming in the newspaper, or maybe you are in the news. You never know. Nowadays, I've seen many people, those who have nothing to do even with the virus, they were working on arthritis and they're talking about virus. They were working on X, talking about coronavirus. They're writing the grants on coronavirus, and they're giving the interviews. So this is, maybe it's not the, I'm not against those people. Maybe they want to do something in the field, but get noticed yourself. Write something that people like it. Write in a simple language. Give some interviews, scientific interviews. There are channels which are available, which really cater on this kind of interviews. They like scientific people and they want to understand their research. Sometimes what happens that we are sitting in our lab and we are not talking to the outer world. Maybe that particular research is really a very important piece of work for the other people. So get noticed, because If you will get noticed, people start recognizing you. And once people start recognizing you, they start talking about you. And that your chances of getting the opportunities will be higher and higher once you are get noticed. Then comes the temperament. And I feel this is really, really important. And why I feel this is important? Because to succeed in science, I understand requires hard work, sustained work, and hence calls on one's mental discipline. That, of course, is true for many jobs. But what I think makes science particularly demanding is that it involves a great deal of uncertainty and the persistence of uncertainty over long periods of time. An example could be that you might submit a paper upon which your career prospects or your job prospects lie upon, but you won't know whether it will be accepted or not for many, many months. You might start a new project which you hope will produce wonderful data years before you get the results. So the temperament that allows you to sustain that enthusiasm, that passion under uncertainty or under uncertain conditions in a virtue which is not everyone possess. So keep that temperament. So let's call it something like a scientific temperament. So you have to develop that. Don't get just nervous by the rejections or people are talking not good about you. Don't get bad, don't feel bad about it. Just be cool. Think about it that there will be a someday which will come where you will be successful. So I want to say the science, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint that you will like this. No, it takes time. It takes time, guys. It might be some takes few years, or some people take more than few years, maybe 10 years, 20 years, maybe more than that. It's a continuous journey. So don't be afraid to fail. Work at several problems at a time. Think creative. Read extensively. Don't just count papers. Though I said publications are important, but quality publications are more important. So develop skills and don't count years. Sometimes what we get nervous, okay, I'm already 28, I'm already 30, I'm still doing a postdoc, I'm still doing a PhD. Don't count years. In science, there are no years. You can be successful at any stage of life. And there are many examples which has been already there in science where people got successful maybe 50 plus or maybe 60 plus. And they were not even PhDs at the time when they got successful. So you can do anything, but what you need to keep in mind that focus, that you want to be focused, you are doing. And then this is, I feel that it's the most important slide, but I feel surround yourself with a supportive people. Without support, you cannot do anything. And this is, I feel very true in my case. Whatever I gained today, whatever little I gained in my career is because of the support that I got from my family. My wife, her name is Aruna, my son Aditya, and my daughter Anya. They're great people. They always are very supportive. Many times I have to travel for many, many days. I have to give lectures. I travel a lot. I have to be on phone. I have to be on computer. But always there was a support. I don't know how much I'm giving back to them. But I feel that their support is paramount. Without their support, you can find support in anyone. Maybe it's your friends, maybe your family members, maybe your lab, maybe your boss, anyone. But you need supportive people around you to be successful. And then this is again a very important slide that I believe in. A successful scientific career is made of passion. Of course, you need a passion, dedication, determination, hard work, and a pinch of luck. You know why? Because I suspect that success in science often requires a luck. Ability and temperament are necessary, but not sufficient. For advancement in science, a lucky guess can inspire a landmark experiment, and there are thousands of potential unlucky events that wreck an otherwise brilliant idea, not all of which can be guarded against. even from the very start of your career, I think luck is very, very important. An example is a new PhD student who find themselves in a successful and supportive lab is off to a great start. Of course, PhD students aren't assigned to labs at random, but there is a good degree of luck involved nonetheless. So believe in that. I always believe that there's always luck which matters. You have to be at the right place at the right time, and that is because of the luck. And just few more slides. So the final words, there is no one path to success. And each successful scientist has unique combinations of strength and weaknesses. So what's the winning formula? So what, if you ask me, what's the winning formula? So unfortunately, there's not a single formula that will lead you to a path of excellence or the successfulness. There are many different paths to success. You just have to find your own that you are passionate about, and that keeps you motivated and excited about your career. It is important for you to carefully examine your own interest and lifestyle and choose the career that works best for you. A young scientist, there are a lot many young scientists here, for them, must always remember that although the end is important, yes, the end is important, but journey must be fun. You should enjoy your journey in science. So enjoy the journey to becoming a successful scientist because you are in the exciting process of discovery. Keep these recommendations in your mind and don't forget the most important thing, whatever is your style of working, no matter what path you choose, work hard and work smart. And I believe you will do great in your career. So smile to be successful. So that's my mantra. You have to smile to be successful. So guys, this is all about like what I want to share my thoughts with you. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I am very much can take the questions. And there is a small announcement that we are coming up with this, again, coming to flow cytometry because that's my passion. We are coming up with this series of flow cytometry lectures where we are involving people from Harvard, NIH, and Roosevelt Park Memorial Institute, and from Italy to conduct the 6 lecture series. So if you guys are interested, then please join us. That will start 25th to 30th of June. You will get the flyers. And if you're interested, then this will be a very extensive course in the field of flow cytometry, as you can see the different topics. And now I'm open for questions. So if you have any question that you want to directly ask me, if you want me to share any experience of my life, I'll be honored, because if any one of you can do great, that's a job done, what I feel. So anything, I mean. So you want to see the slide of a smile? So let's have a look. So smile. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the talk, and today night definitely do something great.
Oh, hi, Hemant.
Hello. Yes, please tell me. Sorry, I unmuted you. Please, can you just unmute yourself and ask me the question?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This I'm not going to ask the question. I'm from Nepal. Rajni Malla speaking. How are you?
Hello. How are you? I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
I'm very nice lecture. Very nice, very informative, and very encouraging to the researchers. And
Thank you.
so nice meeting you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for joining from Nepal. It's very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
So guys, start your journey. Thank you so much, and be in touch with me if you require any help, any kind of a guidance. I'll be more than happy. It will be my honor if I can help you, because you all are the future of this country and of the world, and everything is in your hands. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, hello, please tell me.
Hello, sir. Your lecture was very nice. It was very knowledgeable. Thank you for giving this lecture, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate your words. So if there are no questions, then guys, good night. Those who are in India time and those who are in other time, good evening, good morning, and have a great day and enjoy your journey in science. Thank you.
Okay, good night, him.
Thank you.